how about the fact that you come home and you're here? You've got one set. Fiorella's parents are in Italy. Your pair of Pats are here. Your mum and dad are both here. You've just come from a lunch with the aunties. You're the youngest of four, and you've got three sisters.
Yeah, I've been in trouble because I haven't seen the aunties for a little while.
There's lunch every Friday?
Every Friday.
That sounds a little bit Italian.
So Nonno Mario and Nonna Silvana have passed, as have Nonno Pat and Pat. So we miss them dearly, and that's hard. And one of the things about leaving each country all the time was, we were leaving them all the time, and you never know when they're past, and sometimes you're here and sometimes you're not, so that's sometimes hard to deal with. But Mum always had Friday lunch with all her aunties and her sisters, and so my sisters have kept that up. So, today Francesca was there with Carlo, and Jessica was there with little Emmys, and so everyone, my other two sisters were there.
And you went?
Tess just had a little baby. Yeah, so I try and go if I can, as much as I can.
How often does he make it?
We never get to say you.
But he made it today.
He made it today.
How was it? How was lunch?
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was really good. Yeah,
so I lured you here literally to say, let's talk about intergenerational living. Like, let's talk about what it is like to embody it, like to do it. Because when we conceive of it, I think a lot of people think of the difficulty first. Oh, that's going to restrict my freedom, or that's going to be a sacrifice, or that's going to be hard. Like, that's not my perception. And I'm doing it. We're doing intergenerational living, and there are responsibilities. But what is it? How do you perceive intergenerational living? Like, what's your experience of it?
I feel probably the luckiest person in the world. I think that I have 3 sons. So, Nico, Luca, and then Big Luca. I used to call him the arsehole that sleeps with my daughter.
I was like, another Luca in the family. I was that could be confusing.
Yeah. So, Luca's like another son for me. And so I think there's an understanding that you've got to accept for the sake of family. So we're all difficult, we're all difficult to live with, but you've just got to make compromise and make sure that you have the big picture in mind. So your privacy at times is going to be tough, and I'm going to annoy, Luca and Big Luca, and I'm going to annoy Francesca, and Mum's going to annoy us all, and that's, you've just got to roll with that and think about the big picture. And the big picture is, for me, getting ahead in life so that life is easier. So there's 3 things for me. I don't want my children having massive mortgages where they have to make lifestyle decisions that might affect their kids. The second thing is, I am really, really happy living communally, because I don't know when that's going to end. I think I call the Italians the Maori of the North, because I also think as elders there's a time where it's their turn and you have to give away a bit. So, and I think that'll be the biggest challenge for Mum and I.
Give away?
If we're going to stay community living, then at one stage these guys will be the adults of the house, and we should just be...
So you're giving away what? The power, the attention, the control?
I don't know if it's attention. I think power is probably...
the agency?
The wrong and right word.
Yeah, we've got a difficult relationship with the word power.
Yeah, it's another word, and I don't know what that word is.
Okay.
So, but I think at some stage, I'm thinking about it often now, because we'll probably end up going back to Italy a wee bit. We've got a big house. We can live intergenerationally but separate over there, whereas at the moment we're intergenerational living in the same house.
Yeah, but we are apart quite a few months a year, so I think when we are together, it's great to be together.
So there's a spaciousness to it because
I've
of
been
the
married
lifestyle.
I've been married 33
Mum
years,
and
but
Dad
only 15 probably.
Exactly. It's always there's always a goodbye, and always
So how is it for you? What do people say to you? Your Kiwi friends, you've got a baby, you've got a husband, and you're living at home with Mum and Dad. Like, the West sees that kind of, I'm still at home.
I get the odd, like, how do you do it?
Yeah.
I love it. I don't see any issues in it, really.
No, there are no issues unless you've got issues, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So how is it for you?
I love it. I love it. I think now especially, I mean, I've always been very grateful to mum and dad, but especially since I've had my son, Carlo, the gratitude has been huge. And I think if I can establish a relationship between mum and dad and Carlo like I had one with my grandparents, then that's all I can ask for.
Can you tell me a bit about that relationship?
See, talking about my grandparents is my sweet spot. Yeah, I've always been very attached to all four of them, and I think that's a bit of a trauma I have at the moment when we're talking about always leaving someone, because when we were little, when we were living here, we always had to say goodbye to Nonni, and then when we were living in Italy, I'd always have to say goodbye to Nana and Pa, and then obviously they all passed when I pretty much wasn't there, apart from Nana Pat, so I felt very lucky to be there for Nana. But yeah, I think it's the best relationship you could ever. I think the best relationship with my grandparents. So I feel very privileged to have had all four of them, because, you know, some people don't even have the opportunity to have their own parents. So, yeah.
I think if I can give you some context, I wasn't a father that was around a lot.
Okay.
So I was quite selfish from a career point of view. So talking about one of the great things about intergenerational living is I have so much gratitude to my parents when I was here, but my mother and father-in-law were amazing. So, you know, I missed a lot of stuff in there growing up, but I think I was missed less because the grandparents were there so much, you know, go to just be there. You know, Nonno Mario was just this constant in the house. Same with Nonna Silvana, and sometimes when we chose to live in other countries, you know, Francesca would live with Nonni,
Yeah.
And then when Nico had this massive opportunity to go back to Italy and play professional football, he lived with Nonni, you know. And Nonno Mario was like Fiorella. Like, he didn't hold back on anything. So he was strong with them, disciplined with them, quite hard on them at times, but the love was always, you know, 10 times more. So for me, I think I still have an amazing relationship with my kids, because my father-in-law stepped into that space and I wasn't as missed as much.
That's a very beautiful thing to recognise.
I think it's that I've probably never said that, but that's for me one of the greatest gifts that especially they could have given me when I was away so much, you know.
Yeah.
I'd be away 3 or 4 months a year, you know. It was all right when they were young because we could lie to them and just say, "Oh, your birthday's next week." And, you know, do the birthday a week later when you get home. But it gets a bit harder when they're 14, 15 and So
from your perspective, what was the magic of that relationship?
It was different with each one of them. I think, again, the culture. So Nana and Pa were a bit, I remember when we used to say goodbye to Pa, he used to shake out Nico and Luca's hand, and we would just go there for a big hug, and Pa was still like, you know. And then eventually over the years he'll end up giving us a big hug as well. But I think Pa was more the, you know, wise grandfather that I always, you know, I still have some of his sayings in my mind. And I always think of him as the wise man in my family. Nana Pat was the sweet one. So she was always, you know, she always had time for you. Always, you know, had a cup of tea and biscuits and just sat there and had a chat. My Nonna Silvana, my Italian grandmother, she was kind of the mother of the family, you know, the cook. She always used to be in the house cooking lunches and dinner for us all. So she was the
matriarch.
Yeah. And I think, you know, we got amazing things from her as well. Not only in terms of learning how to cook, but also just being very, leaving a big sign without making a big fuss.
So you mean having a big impact on your life?
Yes, without
lots of words even.
Yeah. She was just,
Okay.
And then Nonno Mario was just, he was yeah, he was. I don't even
Larger
know how
than
to.
life.
Yeah.
Fire. He was fire.
Yeah, he was unbelievable.
Yeah.
You've got a wine named after
He
him.
was.
Yeah,
he
we
was,
do.
Yeah,
We
he
do.
was. He died at 93.
Ooh.
But I couldn't keep up with him in the garden when he was 90. I went over we've got a row of trees that we need to cut down. He was holding one tree and he had a chainsaw on the other. He was cutting it out.
No, it was.
And he'd
yeah.
tell me off constantly. I was useless and, because I didn't cut the lawns properly, and he'd tell these kids off, but he was just larger than life. you
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
My mum is exactly like him. So he has to tell you what he thinks. He has to tell you everything. So we got told off a lot by him, especially when I was by myself and mum and dad were here. I sometimes slept at their house and he'd tell me I was 21 and I'd get home, at midnight or whatever, thinking, I don't have to, and he'd tell me off because I didn't, I wasn't home earlier, or he was just
Forthright.
No filter.
Yeah.
no filter, yeah. Or, even with when I met Luca, because he was always very worried about me finding
Appropriate person? No?
not so much appropriate, but I think he was more worried about me finding someone from overseas like Mum did, because, but he ended up absolutely loving Dad, but it's the other side of the world.
Yes.
And so he was so happy when I met Luca, my husband, because he's from Treviso, our same town.
Yeah, I heard that.
And I remember after, it had been 3 or 4 years already that we'd been going out, and he came to me and he said, "Are you guys together? Because I never see you kiss." And I said, "It's because I don't do it in front of you, no." But yeah, he was very outspoken, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of kisses, I heard a wedding story that the priest who married you caught you kissing behind the church, age 15,
Yes,
to your husband.
yeah,
It's such a good way to
yeah,
start.
yeah.
Kissing behind the church. Did you start to kiss in front of Nonno or no?
No, I've always been very, yeah.
We're not a
PDA.
No, not
we're
really,
not a
no.
huggy, kissy sort of family.
Not really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's not a right way of doing it, because you wouldn't mind. Like another family might be huggy and kissy, no issues.
Yeah, no.
How do you express your affection for each other then? What form does it take?
Well, I doing stuff for each other. I think that when you can't be bothered and someone needs something, that's way better than a hug. So yeah, we just do things for each other when it's needed, really, eh? Make sure that you're emotionally aware of the situation. I think is also important for intergenerational living. You've got to read the room pretty well, although Mum doesn't. She's just like her father. She'll just go, yeah.
And she won't listen to this, and she's not here to defend herself, and she'd be fine if she did hear it.
Yeah,
knows
she'd
it's
be
true.
fine.
Yeah,
She'd
she's
be
Yeah,
fine.
because I said to you, does Fiorella want to come and chat? And you're like, no, thank
way.
you.
Yeah, no, she'd
Yeah.
never,
No,
I knew,
never.
but it's nice
that's
to
not-
ask.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not her thing.
it's not her thing. How do you express affection? What's your way of showing love?
I suppose I do a lot for the people that I love. Yeah, I give a lot.
So similar to Dad.
Yeah,
Show up.
yeah.
Take action.
And I'm also very generous. If I like giving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I was talking to Kevin Denham before we talked, he described you, JK, as authentic, kind, generous, warm, loyal, one of the world's greatest. It's a good way to be described by your friends. It runs in the family.
Yeah,
It's a good thing. This is a good thing.
that's Kevin though. He's a beautiful man.
Indeed. So, any pitfalls of intergenerational living? Like we've got the joys and the pleasures. You're included. There's potentially. Did you get through all three of yours? There's a fiscal, great thing. There's being there, stepping in when somebody else is away. I remember when Dad moved in with us, my son said, "Oh, I think this is really good to have Granddad living with us." I just was so surprised that he would say that.
Oh, I don't think we don't take into consideration the pitfalls, because you shouldn't and don't. They'll be different for everybody. It might be a time when you want to be alone and you can't. It might be, the opinion of Francesca that might be annoying me, or her indecision just recently about when she's going to go back to Italy.
That's
make a
really not
decision,
her. That's the bombing.
So yeah, so those things will come. You don't need to go looking for them, and you just need to let them wash over you. And I think for me, You know, I've been probably too busy for my own like in the last little while, but Francesca, like Bubba, was upset last night, went downstairs, told him some stories. Francesca fell asleep and I fell asleep. If I die tomorrow, I'm happy.
Yeah. So, yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like
genius.
that is
Success.
that is success
It is.
for me. You know,
Yeah.
and if he, you know, just being there to see all those little things, I don't think anyone could describe,
Yeah.
and that is wealth.
Yeah, I think there's just gold inside that sentence. I remember beating the ambulance to Mum and Dad's place on the shore. You know, like they're in the same city, but I got there before the ambulance did, and I'm like, this is crazy. Like, why aren't they closer? Like, why aren't they just accessible? I want to, if shit goes down, I want to be here.
I also think that one of the other things that's really important, like Luca, big Luca, so her husband and I, we've had conflict, but we've managed to
That makes sense.
talk about it and both of us rearrange how we do things. And I think New Zealand is getting away from conflict,
Okay.
and it's hurting us a wee bit. Conflict is good, telling people how you think, but then the next thing that's really important is, you know, and you'll hear all these people say, oh, don't have that word in my dictionary. You need to compromise. So if you're intergenerational living, you need to compromise. And if you're not prepared to, it's probably not for you. So your opinions, you need to compromise. The way you live, you need to compromise. And you need to make sure that you can continue to grow together. So often that's compromise from everybody. But if you're open to that, then the joy and the fun that you have and the relationship that you create is pretty special.
Because compromise, in essence, is like it's a refining. It's a shaving of the rough edges off. M. Scott Peck said the only reason to get married is children. They've tried every other way of raising small people, and that is, even as flawed as it is, it's the best. And for the friction, and I was like, that was not what I was expecting. You get married for the friction. You're ideally rubbing each other smoother. You're polishing each other. So intergenerational living in community is that. It's like you're intersecting with people who you don't like how they smell or how they sound or how they breathe or how they look and they don't like it in you sometimes. So I love hearing you say that, because too, you know, your son-in-law is a man in his own right, and you're a man in your own right, and you have a way of doing things, he has a way of doing things. What would conflict look like between you? Is it a talk? Is it a standoff? Is it silence? Is it honesty?
I was just thinking about, I think there's hierarchy with respect.
Yep, okay.
And so I think the hierarchical situation in our house is mum. You know, mum is probably the boss, and she has a personality that is very, very strong. So the compromise there probably for Luca and Francesca with us is there's this hierarchy, and we try not to be hierarchical, but it still has to be that way, right? But we also need to be able to flex and move and make sure that we're taking every other's, you know, it's not our way or the highway. So that's probably the secret to it, you know.
Yeah.
But I think it's incredible because my husband Luca, after living with mum and dad, I think that's when he realised, I want to go back to my hometown because I want to live my parents as well. I want for my parents to experience our son as well, because they're missing out on it. And so I think that has taught him and us a lot. I've probably always been used to it, but for him it was...
Yeah. That's amazing. That part of your return to Italy is to share that experience with the other half of the family, the new nonno and nonna.
Yeah.
And nonni. Because this idea of independence is an idea that is success in our society. I now don't really need anyone. You know, like I have a big fence around my house, or I can do it my own way. Like we have wrapped up success in this idea of maybe perhaps a little bit of impermeability or invulnerability, do you think?
Look, I will tell you what it's like in Italy, and then you can make your own judgment. But if your kids go away and leave your house at 18 to go to university, that's seen as failure. Right? And people make jokes about the Italian males leaving home when they get married, but why not? So I think there is this search for independence and freedom, which I don't aspire to at all. So for me, if Francesca and Luca and the children lived in my house, it'd be the happiest day of my life. If they don't want to live with us anymore and they move, they're probably moving soon, but it's going to be through that door. I think that is one of the joys in life for me. So I don't want to be by myself at night. I don't want to be without my children around me. So I don't understand either, and I think this is possibly because I've been in Italy so much.
Yeah, there are a lot of children who are like, I can't wait to leave. And there are a lot of parents who are like, I can't wait till they've gone. Like, we've intended it. There's there are different mindsets out there, right?
Yeah, but for me, it's quite crazy because when you decide to have kids, it should be a joy to spend time with your kids. And as a kid, it should be a joy spending time with your parents. So, yeah, it's interesting.
Is it a joy to spend time with your mum?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. What makes it a joy?
Oh, mum is... How do I
Unique.
explain mum? Mum is unique, like Nonno Mario. Yeah, she'll tell you everything, even the things you don't want to hear, which that can be hard because some days you can't be bothered. But she does a lot for me, so I really appreciate her.
Yeah, it's so I wonder if so often we get into parenting or we get into family and we are potentially singing from somebody else's song sheet. We haven't thought, what do I want the shape and size and texture and nature and flavour of my family to be? Yeah. Like women in my season of life, I've got one child left and one child is flatting and one child is studying, and I've got friends who are their first child is leaving or their last child is leaving, or they're living in a 5-bedroom house with 4-bedroom house with just the two of them, and they're like, what the holy heck are we doing now? It's just crazy. It's crazy to me, the concept that I could, my life could revolve around these human beings and then they could just fritter off, disappear. Wow. And I don't begrudge them a life of their own. Like, I don't begrudge them living life. Ideally, I just want their life to be woven into mine and mine to be woven into them.
That's the thing. We're still living our life. We're still seeing our friends. We're still doing what we want to do. It's just that
we don't do everything together. We do nothing together. But if they're having dinner at our place, we're there. In Italy, it'll be a little bit different because they'll have dinners and we'll be in the other room. But yeah, it's not like their social life is not our social life. Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed that taster. Check out the full episode and subscribe for updates.